A very good evening to you, wherever you're watching us around the world. This is Superscreen News at 6, reaching you live from Lagos. I am Olamide Onwuka. Many thanks for joining us. A faction of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, loyal to former Osun State Deputy Governor Iyola Omishore, has resolved to dump the party for another platform. Members gathered at their secretariat on Bogon Road, Osogbo, to chart the way after leaving the Congress of March 25th, where Soji Adagunondo became the chairman. Bayo Faforiji, who led members to burn the PDP flags and tear their cards at the party secretariat, said they were yet to decide on which party to join. Report says the group is consulting on the alternative platform for its leader, Omishore, to contest the governorship elections. Leaders of the group met in Bongon, headquarters of Aidadi local government last weekend, where they considered Social Democratic Party, SDP. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, says the $1 billion approved by President Muhammadu Buhari for the purchase of military equipment will be spent judiciously. Buratai disclosed this to journalists at the second Nigerian Army Procurement Seminar in Abuja. You will recall that President Muhammadu Buhari had approved the fund during a meeting with the Minister of Defense, Brigadier General Mansour Dan Ali, retired, and the service chiefs at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. The Army Chief is optimistic that the money would boost the efforts of the military and the war against insurgency in the Northeast and other security issues affecting the country. Now, the 6th Division of the Nigerian Army, Port Harcourt, has charged its officers to observe environmental hygiene in their daily activities. The General Officer commanding the division, Major General Musa Yusuf, made the call during the opening of the Interformation Sector. Speaking at the opening of the 2018 Interformation Second Quarter Junior and Senior Commanders Competition, Major General Musa Yusuf, who was represented by the Deputy Director, Army Public Relations, Colonel Amiyu Eliaso, said the competition is aimed at raising responsible personnel.
It is meant to boost their capabilities in all the aspects of their training and their actions, both inside and outside the barracks. At the end of the day, that we should have professionally responsive personnel in the division area of responsibility. Brigadier
General Joseph Omali, who spoke on the theme, the relevance of hygiene in the barracks, said with proper care and sanitation, officers will be medically fit to carry out their activities, as he urged them to stick to the cleanliness culture.
We are all soldiers. We live in the barracks. What is the problem of sanitation? What is the problem of hygiene in your barracks? To also bring out all the problems within the barracks so that we know how to solve them. Do you understand? And in talking about sanitation, what is your own role in ensuring that the barrack is kept clean?
Participating formations in the 30-day short talk competition are 2nd Brigade, 16th Brigade, 46th Brigade Engineer, 56th Signal Brigade, and other affiliated units of the division. Coalition of Civil Society Group #Mumudondu have stormed the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC headquarters in Abuja to demand the prosecution of a former Deputy Senate President, Ibrahim Mantu, for alleged corrupt practices. The group, in a letter directed to INEC chairman, said the former People's Democratic Party PDP chieftain should be arraigned for allegedly subverting the will of the people during several elections. Mantu had in an interview confessed that he rigged several elections for his former party, PDP, by inducing electoral officers to falsify results and to violate the electoral laws. His admission had triggered reactions from PDP, which refuted his claims and also disowned him. The Kogi West representing Senator Dino Melaye has urged the Supreme Court to declare the petition submitted to the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) seeking his recall as illegal. The senator, in an appeal he filed against the March 16, 2018 judgment of the Abuja Division of the Court of Appeal, also urged the Apex Court to declare the recall process as illegal. Melaye had on Tuesday filed 7 grounds notice of appeal against the judgment of the Court of Appeal, which had dismissed the suit instituted before the Federal High Court Abuja to challenge the validity of the process of his recall, which commenced in June last year. The Court of Appeal had in its March 16 and grounds of meetings in the court and made sure that it be concluded and had not to run out but had been paused since June 23rd when it commenced the suit before the Federal High Court, Nigeria. Now, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, says the Nigerian Army will continue to sustain its commitment to Nigeria's security. Buratai disclosed this at the second edition of a 2018 Procurement Awareness Seminar held in Abuja with the theme Optimizing the Operational Capabilities of the Nigerian Army Through an Effective Procurement System. Buratai said the operational capability of the Nigerian Army depends largely on the availability of requisite hardware, highly trained personnel, and other essential resources.
The security challenges facing our dear country manifest in the forms of terrorism, insurgency, separatist movements, and banditry, among others. Thus, there is no gainsaying the fact that the operational capability of the Nigerian Army today largely depends on the availability of requisite hardware, highly trained personnel, and other essential resources.
In his address, the chairman, House Committee on Army, Remande Shawulu, said the National Assembly will identify with the Nigerian Army in its effort to create a transparent and accountable procurement system that will support increasing operational responsibilities.
One major area that we have actually faced as we try to build consensus on the need to open new windows of funding for the military is the recurring issue and allegations of lack of transparency and accountability. No doubt the Army and indeed the armed forces have been in the eye of the storm with regards to the allegations, confessions, and investigations by anti-corruption agencies.
Now, the gunmen have killed 6 people, including a village head, in an attack on Sarari village in Chikun local government area, Kaduna State. Though Kaduna Police Command is yet to confirm the incident, but an indigene of the area told journalists that the attack left about 8 people seriously injured. According to eyewitness, the bandits stormed the village, moving from house to house and shooting the villagers indiscriminately. And in the process, they shot the village head. The injured victims have been rushed to a primary health care center in Idowa town, just a few kilometers from the Chikun-Birnin-Gwari border of Kaduna State. A report says 6 policemen and 6 others, including residents and bank customers, have been reportedly killed after some bank robbers stormed about 5 banks in the Offa local government area of Kwara State. The banks allegedly affected by the raids are Guarantee Trust Bank, Zenith Bank, First Bank, Union Bank, and Eco Bank. The robbers, who numbered close to 30, blew up entrances into the banks with dynamite in an operation which lasted for more than 1 hour. They reportedly blocked roads from both Ilorin and Osogbo and entered Owode police station in the metropolis. They were said to have shot dead 4 policemen at the division, including some complainants in the police station. The Lagos State Police Command is on the trail of some gunmen who attacked a vehicle in Amuwo, Odofin, and killed a police escort identified only as Musa. The robbers were also said to have injured the driver of the vehicle and escaped with 3 million naira cash. Report says the CARP had escorted 2 officials of a plastic raw material company in a Nissan Almera to a Zenith Bank branch at Amuwo-Odofin around 2 p.m. to withdraw the cash. They were returning from the bank when the gunmen ambushed them on Babangida Road, Amuwo-Odofin, and opened fire on the car. The All Progressives Congress APC, the National Executive Committee NEC, says it will take its final decision on the party's executive tenure extension on Monday. The national chairman of the party, John Odije Oyegun, and the party publicity secretary, Bolaji Abdullahi, disclosed this in Abuja at the end of a 3-hour meeting of APC governors elected and the National Working Committee of the party.
The governors, the National Working Committee of our party decided to sit and look at the issues that were seemingly dividing us. And I want to say to you, with absolute satisfaction, absolute pride, that all the issues that you have been commenting about in the last 2 days have been completely and totally resolved. We are back in business as one.
The party spokesperson, Bolaji Abdullahi, said the technical committee constituted to look into the issue will submit its report early enough for consideration.
To say that the meeting on Monday is to endorse congresses or begin to plan for congresses. We don't have any evidence that the committee is recommending that there will be congresses. The position of NEC is that those who are currently serving in executive positions at all levels in the party should, at the expiration of their tenure in June, continue in acting capacity. That position still stands. Now, when the committee submits its report tomorrow or when the NEC meets on Monday, we will now listen to the advice to be given to the committee, to be given to the party. Now, the NEC may now decide if the committee recommends that the position of NEC should be maintained, then there will be no issue. Then the president himself and those who have concern on whether the action that has been taken violates the constitution will have more confidence in the position we have taken. But should the committee recommend that the congresses should be held, then NEC will consider the report at the same time and decide whether to reverse its earlier position or not. But as I speak to you, there is no evidence, there is nothing that suggests that the committee will recommend this way or that way.
You will recall that APC had on Tuesday constituted a 10-member technical committee headed by Plateau State Governor Simon Lalong to advise its leadership on tenure elongation. Now, the Minister of Education, Adamu, says the number of candidates seeking admission into its 104 colleges across the country who registered for the 2018 National Common Entrance Examination are low. In a statement released in Abuja by the spokesperson of the Ministry of Education, Priscilla Ioma, who disclosed this, said only 28 candidates from the Zamfara state registered for the examination. Ioma pleased with the state government through heads of schools and interest groups to persuade the school-age children in areas with lower registration to register for the examination. According to the minister, the directive had been given to leave the portal open for registration until April 13th. You're watching Superscreen News at 6. We'll take a break now. When we return, it'll be time for some business stars. Stay with us. Welcome back, and now for some business stories. A group identified as Environmental Rights Action and the Friends of Earth Nigeria has expressed readiness to sue Shell Company over allegations of poor management of gas flaring in Nigerian communities. Executive Director of the group, Dr. Godwin Ojo, who disclosed this in Benin, said bringing Shell to justice will pave way for the lawsuits from stakeholders in the industry.
It is becoming evident that Shell may be running from its mess, but cannot evade justice. The plans by Friends of the Earth Netherlands to take Shell to court will further embolden impacted communities in the Niger Delta to institute more cases to demand that their lives that have been seized and ruined by Shell's activities are taken back forthwith. The case is supported by Friends of the Earth International, which campaigns for climate justice for people across the world impacted by dirty energy and climate change. Based on these polluters in the fossil fuels industry, that they should be made accountable for their environmental injustices across the globe.
The 2011 assessment of Ogoni, Nigeria found Shell guilty of community lands and water pollution and gas flaring, which is a major factor in climate change.
There's a saying that if you kill the body without killing the head, you haven't started. So the principle is kill the head and the body will die. Shell is significant among the committee of multinationals destroying our environment globally. So it is germane to take on Shell. Whatever victory you have in court against Shell will translate to greater victories against other multinationals.
We would encourage them to key into it, encouraging the Friends of the Earth so that any court case they are there as witnesses to the issue on ground, and then justice will be given to them.
That this course is the right course and we must sustain it. The victory, I am sure, I'm very certain that it is achievable and it must be achieved.
The move to ensure human-friendly environment led to several agitations by right groups, but with little attention from the government. Still talking business, the federal government says a total of 1.4 trillion naira is now being spent annually by the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation and NPC as subsidy on premium motor spirit, also known as petrol. The federal government described the amount as on the recovery, maintaining that the national oil firm had been shouldering the huge financial burden because NNPC is the country's supplier of last resort when it comes to provision of petroleum products. The Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Ibe Kachiku, who disclosed this, said that the ministry planned to unveil an infrastructure rebirth map for the oil and gas sector in 2 months. The Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, IPMAN, says any increase in the price of petrol as a result of 5% levy on the product as stipulated by the Petroleum Industry Governance Bill that was recently passed by the National Assembly will not be welcomed by Nigeria. You will recall that at the plenary last Wednesday, the Senate passed the harmonized version of the PIGB, which seeks to unbundle the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation and merge its subsidiaries, such as the Department of Petroleum Resources and the Petroleum Products Pricing Regulatory Agency, into one entity. The federal government is aiming to create a total of 570,000 jobs through the implementation of the Focus Labs under the Economic Recovery and Growth Plan. The Minister of Budget and National Planning, Udo Udoma, who disclosed this in Abuja during the ERGP Mid-Lab Syndicate meeting. Udoma said the government is optimistic that given the number of projects that were likely to be ready for the approval by the end of the lab process, the aim of resolving interagency bottlenecks, which is one of the cardinal objectives of the labs, would be achieved through job creation. Now, the African Development Bank says it has approved a $50 million risk participation agreement for commercial banks to address the continent's trade finance market demands. The fund will enable banks operating in Nigeria and other African countries to provide credit to their customers, including small and medium enterprises that are involved in trade within the region. AFDB, who disclosed this in a statement, said the board of directors of the lender approved $50 million unfunded risk participation agreement for commercial banks on March 27th. According to the bank, the risk participation will leverage commercial bank support to African issuing banks seeking to expand their trade finance operation in their countries. At this point, we'll take a break now. When we return, we'll take some news from the foreign scene plus the latest in the world of sports. Stay with us.